Hello designers! In today's video, I want to talk about the 5 mistakes you're making in your investment guide. So first off, let's start with the basics. Do you have an investment guide? If not, I highly recommend that you have one. It's not only a key document in your client journey, but it's also going to make you look established and professional. So make sure you have all this information in a proper document. I'm going to tell you what you need to include in your investment guide. When people inquire about your services, the ideal scenario is that you can send them via email your investment guide, or they can download it from your website, just like what I've done. And that way they can review the document on their own time and come back with questions if they have any. And that prevents you from also getting on unnecessary calls with prospects who don't match your ideal client. The investment guide is a great document to have as a way to share more about your company, your mission, your team if you have one, the type of projects that you work on, and the process, so the design phases that you go through, your process for taking on projects from beginning to end, the minimum budget required to work with you, and any information such as frequently asked questions and the next steps. It also prevents any type of miscommunication, because the clearer you are about what you do and how you do it and what is expected of the client, the easier it's going to be for them to understand if you are a great match for them or if it's not going to work out. So they're not going to get on a call with you if the information in that guide doesn't match what they're looking for. Similarly, the better you can explain what your process is and what the expectations are, the less likely you are to have issues with them down the line. And you don't want to have any legal issues because the information wasn't clear and they didn't really understand what they were paying for. What I suggest my clients to include in their investment guide are an introduction section where they're going to introduce themselves and their team, their mission, values. This really helps prospects to understand if you could be the right fit for them on a more emotional level. Remember that people buy from emotion, so if they feel like your personality matches theirs, they might be more likely to work with you. Then you could have a quick portfolio section where you just include some highlights to show the type of work that you work on, your design services, and the budget. And I know it's difficult for you designers because you say that every project is different and you can't put a price. You have to go through the entire scope of work and understand. And this will come at the fee proposal stage, but you can still include a minimum budget to be able to work on each design service with you. Then you'll also include a section about your design process. This one is very important. The fees and payments and communication and next steps. Okay, so now that we've gone through this little introduction about what an investment guide is and what it should include, let's go through the 5 mistakes that I see you make in your investment guides. Number 1, it's not an appealing document, or it doesn't feel like it's on brand. So first of all, hopefully you have a strong brand identity. And if you do, all the documents in your business should be easy to recognize. This means that your brand colors, fonts, logos, your design style is easy to spot in your investment guide. It's a beautiful document, and I'm going to say it every time I can. We are designers, and as such, we have a responsibility to make our documents quite appealing as well. So some of the design websites that I see are really not attractive. They look like they could be for a lawyer or an accountant, and it doesn't make me want to stay on the page. And it's the same thing for your document. It's not because it's an investment guide that you should not spend time making it look on brand and making it look attractive. You want people to dive in and feel excited about reviewing this document. Number 2, you are not including, or not enough, an introduction about who you are and who your team is. And as I said before, it's quite important because you want to create that emotional bond with the person looking at your guide. And this means that they need to feel like you would be a good fit for them, that you would get along, because let's face it, you're going to be spending a lot of time in their home. And if they don't like your personality or feel like you don't get them, it's going to be quite difficult to sign them as clients. So I always say, when I talk about my passion for traveling and the fact that for a while I was traveling and working at the same time, this attracted a few people who also love traveling, or they lived in France and could talk about this experience with me. So make sure you introduce yourself. You don't need to write 5 pages just about you, but ensuring that you create that emotional bond is going to be essential. Number 3, the information in your guide isn't clear. So this could be the expectations, the lack of transparency, and it's hard, as we said, to put a price to your services because each project is so different. But if you're not really transparent about what the minimum budget is to work with you or things that are really important in your process, then you're not building trust with the person inquiring. The more transparent you are, the more trust you're going to be able to create. And the more trust, the easier for them it's going to be to decide to work with you and not someone else. Number 4, you are missing social proof or examples. And what do I call social proof? Social proof is basically any testimonial from previous clients or work samples. So I said in the parts that I think you should include is a short portfolio, like portfolio highlights. You shouldn't have your entire portfolio in there because you're also going to have a portfolio document, but you should include the highlights with some testimonials of happy clients because social proof is essential. And it's probably not the only place that they're going to be looking for testimonials. They might be looking on Google or your Facebook page or anywhere where people can review your business. So make sure that there's a link to the testimonials or you include a few in your guide with examples of projects that you've done so that they can relate to the type of projects that you do. And number 5, there's no call to action. What is a call to action? It's basically you telling them what they should be doing next. So, okay, they've reviewed this investment guide. What is the next step? Have you included a next step section? Are you telling them, okay, once you review this guide, you should get in touch and book your call here? If you do not tell people what they're supposed to be doing, they're not going to do it. Just going to review the guide and then they're going to forget and look at other designers' websites and they're going to go with the one who is actually telling them what to do. So make sure you have a next step call to action. You're telling them, okay, what is the next step? Are they getting on a discovery call with them? What can they do? Just tell them. So those are the 5 mistakes that I see people do in their investment guides. We do have client templates. We have 8 of them. That's all the client documents you'll ever need in your client journey, from the first inquiry to onboarding them as client, all the way to offboarding them as well. So these 8 client documents were designed and pre-written by designers, my team actually. So based on our own experience, but also the experience of working with hundreds of designers, we put together these templates that have everything included. So you don't need to think about a process or a design of having to start documents from scratch, because we give you that, and for a really good price right now. The price is going to go up soon, so I recommend that you check them out. I'm going to link them down below. All the 8 documents also come with bonuses. Well, first of all, the 8 client documents come as a bundle, and you can choose between 3 designs. So we have 3 bundles. Each one is designed the exact same way. So that means that when you're going to go in and edit them, it's going to be very easy for you to brand them with your brand identity, your brand elements, but all of them look consistent. So it's going to be much easier to recognize your brand. And these bundles also come with 26 email templates and a link in bio template for your Instagram page. So I'm going to link them down below. If you have any questions about the investment guide or the bundles, drop them down below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. I'll see you in the next video.